For me, first and foremost, it's around the way teams are currently set up. We've certainly seen an evolution in this in a positive way, kind of post-COVID, but a lot of kind of structures of organizations are quite antiquated. So you have the e-commerce function that sits very disparately from the digital marketing or the media function. And that makes it very difficult to effectively transfer budget between the two, or indeed make sure that your retail media is in line with what your more traditional media is doing. So once you've got that structure right, I think that provides a really good foundation to make sure that everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. I think there's still a lot of jargon when it comes to e-commerce, and particularly kind of retail media and marketplace activation. I think clients sometimes treat it a little bit like a media buy, which is a bit of a pitfall, because we know that it has lots of different facets, not least, of course, things like looking at fulfillment and distribution metrics and all the other things that are so closely associated, with commerce. I think particularly in EMEA, and I'm very jealous and envious of our colleagues over in the States, where it's a little bit kind of more simple, the ecosystem. But we have a lot of different markets that are at different levels of maturity, some very nascent, some more advanced, and that's led to kind of a proliferation of different types of formats, fragmented marketplace where lots of people aren't speaking to each other. I'm hoping in time that this will start to kind of resolve itself and become a little bit more kind of solidified. And I think the final thing is kind of just be wary not to kind of sacrifice that kind of unified view of what you're doing from a media perspective. We talk of this concept of walled gardens that everyone in digital marketing has been waxing lyrical about for some time, but I don't think it's ever been more prevalent when it comes to retail media, having that one single view of how retail and media can work together. And I know for some of our larger clients, Pacvue has been the perfect solution for us to be able to kind of leverage those two different types of data sets. Obviously, it's been so exciting, trying to unlock these opportunities for clients and really demonstrate that incremental value. I think first and foremost is offered up an opportunity for non-endemic clients. So we've got a number of really big brands that I don't think ever traditionally would think about, marketplaces like Amazon or e-retail being, a viable way to engage with their audiences. But because of the increase in availability of inventory, they've been able to access, new demographics, new audiences, and tie that work back into their other kind of execution or performance channels. So it's been brilliant for unlocking that. It's also given them incremental volume and scale, in what is an incredibly kind of competitive ecosystem. Cost per clicks are continuing to spiral out of control in a lot of the kind of the more competitive tentpole event times. But I think, more than anything, the opportunity is to help with the development of the formats and of the approach itself. I think this is definitely an area where early adoption pays. I know when we have our kind of kickoff meetings at the beginning of each quarter with Pacvue, we take on board kind of client requirements, and we're able to feed that back into the kind of the development teams. And a lot of the dashboarding, the ways in which we see the data, ways in which we can cut the data, is actually kind of based upon kind of clients' feedback. And I think that's a really important thing to get across is, early adoption is key and does pay off in this area. I think first and foremost, it goes back to the first point we made about making sure that you're treating retail and media as one, and you're not separating out the two. And it's been really great to see kind of clients that once had quite a silo view of those two disciplines, where they had the Amazon team over here and then the retail team and media team over here, and now the two are coming together, which means that you get to share data, you get to have a fluid movement of budget between the two, but most of all, the customer experience is better. As that customer moves down the funnel, they're having consistent messaging, they're having elements of personalization, which I think always really helps. I think the second thing is, I think we're kind of, Amazon's a bit of a victim of its own success in terms of you have so many different, formats and ways to market yourself. More recently with all the developments with the Amazon Marketing Cloud, which is great for, for audiences and aspects of personalization and the way you can segment data. But I think you need to make sure you can, crawl before you can run. And I think it's very easy for a client to see all of these kind of new shiny things and go, right, I want to do everything. But you got to tread carefully and make sure that each kind of stage of that, I suppose, e-commerce evolution, you're leveraging the technology to the best of your ability. So doing it kind of in a phased approach. And I think underpinning that is making sure that you've got the brilliant basics. Simple things like having the right keywords, understanding keyword volumes, making sure that your organic listings are being kind of tracked and monitored, and they're in line with what you're seeing from a paid perspective. I also think that acknowledgement of the way Amazon plays in the wider kind of user journey. We're seeing some really interesting statistics. That the kind of famous one being there's a 64% of all product searches actually start on Amazon as opposed to Google. Which a lot of people don't kind of really consider, and now they do. It's really important that first kind of taste of your brand is as authentic, and is aligned to the brand ethos as possible. So making sure you've got the right content, you've got aspects of rich media, you've also got kind of reviews. So it's that kind of whole kind of package, working in harmony that's really going to get you the best kind of presentation to your potential customers as possible. We've covered it. I just think that at the moment we're in such an exciting space, a moment in time where we are to a certain degree going into the unknown, but I think conversely there's a lot of opportunities for clients out there. I think a lot of these retail media networks within EMEA are still very much in their infancy. They're learning. So I think a kind of a call out to them would be try not to sacrifice their customer journey in return for being able to offer up kind of advertising space and inventory. But I certainly think that looking towards Amazon, what they're doing and having a platform like Pacvue that can take a lot of the heavy lifting out of what is got a resource intensive discipline, I think is a good thing. But I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what 23 has ahead from an e-commerce perspective.